So this is 8.4 division without a remainder and regrouping. So as always, we are starting small. So I just wanted to go over this area, which was in a previous slide. So this is just the different parts of a division problem. Now we talked about the quotient before. That's the answer of a division problem. The divisor is how many groups you are making, and the dividend is that total that you're dividing up. So we're going to be looking at how to do long division today. So three friends share 63 squashes equally. How many squashes does each friend get? So we're going to go back and forth between these two areas. So step one, we talk a lot about steps. So step one is going to be starting by dividing the tens. So typically when we've done addition and subtraction and multiplication, we always start in the ones. Now this is going to be a little different because we are going to be starting at that left place value. Now if it was 3 digits, we would be starting at our hundreds, but since it's only 2 digits, we're going to be starting at our tens. So that's how this differs off the bat. So we are dividing those tens by 3. So we have 6 tens and we are going to be breaking that up. So here is a place value chart where they're showing us the 6 tens that they're splitting into 3 groups. Now in those 3 groups there are 2 tens of each. So essentially this 6 can get split into 3 groups, and each group will have 2. So that's what's being done here. So we're going to start with the basics, and then I'm going to show you how you guys are going to solve it. Step 2, we're going to divide the ones by 3. So we are going to be dividing this 3 in the ones by 3. Okay, that's where those numbers are coming from. So if we have 3 ones and we're splitting them into 3 groups, that means each group is getting 1, which is where this 1 comes from. Okay? If you're confused right now, it is okay. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it on the next slide. Okay? So 3 friends share 39 tomatoes equally. How many tomatoes does each friend get? So I'm going to run you through the process here, and we are going to ignore this for now, and we're going to talk through these steps. So we have the 39 divided by 3. Okay, so we're dividing the tens by 3. So here are our place value charts. We have 3 tens, and we're dividing them into 3 groups. So if we divide them by 3, each group has 1 now. As you can see, here's 1, another 1, and that final one. So we're thinking, how many 3's go into 3? 1 each. Okay, now what we are going to do next, and there's a very cool thing that I'll show you as far as the steps. So we're dividing first, then we're going to multiply these two numbers that we just put up. 1 times 3 gives us 3. We will subtract and be left with nothing. All right. Next step is to divide the ones by 3. Now again, we're going to ignore this, and I'm going to show you all the steps. Okay, so we did step 1, we multiplied here, subtract have 0. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, and I will clear this up on once I show you our chart. So we're going to bring down this 9. So now what we're doing is we're dividing the ones by 3. So that's why we're bringing it down, because now we're going to focus right here and divide this 9 by 3. So here are our 9 ones, and we're splitting them into 3 groups, and each group has 1, 2, 3. So essentially what we just did was we looked here at this 9. We are dividing it by this number, the 3. So 9 divided by 3 gives us 3. And then what you do is you take what number you put just up here, what you divided by, and you're going to multiply it here. Same thing that we did on the last step. So 3 times 3 gives us 9. Subtract, and then we'll be left with 0, and there is nothing left to bring down. So this tells us we have a remainder of 0, and our quotient, or the answer for this, is 13. Alright, so we're going to ignore these steps here and just walk through it. Okay, so we have 48 divided by 2. Now, before we solve this one, I want to take you to the next slide so I can show you all of our steps that we're going to follow, and this is a great way to remember it. So, doing long division, I like to use this to remember. So, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? So, our first step is the does, which is divide, which is taking that divisor and looking at that furthest left place value, which will now be our tens. So we're doing 6 divided by 2. That's the divide, does. Then we get to our McDonald's, which is multiply. Then you take your quotient here and you multiply it by the divisor to get 6, and that goes here. So this on the side is showing you exactly what to do. Sell, that is subtract. So you subtract what you divided and then multiplied to get the answer, then we subtract, and here we have our difference, okay? Now, this part is very important, the cheese, okay, to check. So you should not be moving on unless whatever you divided by right here, your answer, that difference, if it is greater or equal to our divisor, then you did not go high enough, okay? Because that means you did not divide the way you needed to. So this checking is extremely important. If that was a 2 here or higher, then we did not do the right thing. So for example, for this one, they're doing 68 divided by 2. So say we thought a 2 went here instead of the 3 like they have, you would be doing 2 times 2 to get 4, and then subtract to get 2. Now these are equal to each other, which means you did not divide correctly. You can divide this down even more, okay? So that checking is really important to make sure you get an accurate answer. Then once you check, you can bring down that next place value, okay? So we will talk about this while we do it. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to divide. 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's our does. Next up is our McDonald's. Does McDonald's, which is multiply. 2 times 2 gives us 4. And then we are on to sell, which is subtract. 4 minus 4 gives us 0. Now we're at our cheese to check. We have a 0 here. It is less than this number, so we are good to go. So we can bring down our next place value, which is an 8. And then once you bring that down, the whole thing starts over, okay? So, but now, instead of looking up here, we're going to look right here. So we're going to do 8 divided by 2, which gives us 4. And then, you know, we're starting that over again. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? We just did the division. Now we are on to multiply. So we're going to do 4, because this is what we just did. You have to use the number that you just divided. Then we're going to multiply 4 times 2 to get 8. Then we are on sell for subtract. 8 minus 8 gives us 0. We are on cheese, check. It is lower, so we are good to go. And then burgers is bring down. There's nothing left to bring down, which tells us we are at our final answer. Our remainder is 0. And our quotient, which is the answer to this division problem, is 24. Let's look at the next one. 69 divided by 3. So we are going to start, and I added this little chart for us to refer to for the steps since this is so new. So step 1 is to divide. So we are doing that first place value to the left, which here is our tens, okay? So we are starting here. So we are first dividing the tens. So we're doing 6 divided by 3, which gives us 2. Next step is to multiply. So we're going to multiply these two numbers. 2 times 3 gives us 6. Next step is to subtract, which will leave us with 0. And then remember, don't skip this step. The check is very important. So we look at what our answer was from our division problem. We check here. It is 3. It is below. So we are good to go. And then we will bring down. So we bring down the 9, and then we start all over. But the biggest thing I want you to keep in mind is now we are going to be dividing from down here. So we're going to be doing 9 divided by 3, which gives us 3. Then multiply 3 times 3 to get 9. Subtract to get 0. Check for cheese. We're good to go. Next step is bring down. There's nothing left to bring down, which means we are at our final answer. Our remainder is 0, and our final answer is 23. So I just want to run through this real quick so that way we can make sure that you guys know how to do it when they lay it out this way. So dividing the tens is that first step. So we're taking our tens, which is the 6 tens, and we're dividing it by 3. Now 6 tens divided by 3 gives us 2 tens. So if we were, and that's what we did right here, okay? Then next is to divide the ones. So in our ones we had a 9, and we divided that by 3, and we got 3, and then this we write as our final answer, which we have over here. 2 tens and 3 ones, which is 23. So again, feel free to use this and run through this. This will be in your slides to help you, and just use those different steps to kind of guide you. And I added it here, so this one you're going to solve regularly instead of how they have this set up. So essentially what you're doing here is just dividing like we've been doing. Think of your reverse multiplication, okay? 9 divided by 3. What times 3 gives you 9? Then you have your workbook pages right here. They're giving you the place value chart as well to help you. So think about how they have this they set this up. So they are separating it into groups for you to kind of help guide you. If you want to draw also like the way we were doing it, like 44 divided by 4 to practice doing it like this, you are more than welcome to do that. And then down here it has the same setup. And then once you reach this part that says 8.4 part 2, stop there, and remember to raise your hand when you are finished. So you only have 2 pages to do. You have your Let's Practice and 1 workbook page, okay? This is new, so if you are still kind of shaky on it, we have a whole nother half of this lesson that we will be doing tomorrow also. So do not get stressed, all right? We will keep working.